Meteorologist Kellyanne Klass on WESH 2 News Sunrise. WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
And that breaking news is on the coronavirus front. Moderna has officially filed for emergency use authorization of its COVID-19 booster shot for all adults. Right now, it's only authorized for seniors and people at high risk.
This comes as the FDA is expected to approve the Pfizer booster shot for adults this week. The approval could come as early as Thursday. We will keep you updated. Right now at 4, we've learned the Kissimmee man who was involved in an hours-long standoff with law enforcement yesterday allegedly killed a father and son and one of their friends.
Yesterday, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office descended on a neighborhood of apartment complexes where those bodies were found, and the suspect is now behind bars. The sheriff just gave an update, and that's where WESH 2's Marley Martinez is joining us live. So, Marley, what are the new details?
Today, the sheriff tells us the suspect has a long criminal history. He's been arrested nearly 50 times, convicted of 7 felonies, and now he's facing murder, child abuse, and kidnapping charges.
Jacob Chansley, also known as Q Shaman, just received the harshest sentence yet for his role in the January 6th Capitol riot. Chansley was sentenced to 41 months in prison after he pleaded guilty to 1 count of felony obstruction of an official proceeding. He became one of the defining images of that day, shirtless, wearing a bullhorn, fur hat, and face paint while storming the U.S. Capitol. Chansley took full responsibility for his actions during sentencing.
It is the second day of deliberations in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. The decision from the jury could come down at any moment, but things inside the Wisconsin courtroom are different today. The judge is defending his decision not to allow anyone who was wounded that night to be called a victim. Tonight at 11, COVID-19 is the leading cause of death for first responders in 2021.
So why are so many people hesitant to get the vaccine?
You're going to tell me what I'm going to put in my body. That's my choice.
We take care of our bodies, and now we're having somebody else telling us what's good for our health.
But should unvaccinated first responders who die from COVID get line-of-duty benefits? Who is fighting to make it happen in Florida? That's all new tonight at 11.
Nearly every senior in the United States has now been vaccinated. The CDC says 0.6% of adults 65 and older have yet to receive their first dose. More than a third are fully vaccinated, and that includes getting a booster shot. Just under 90% of seniors in our state are vaccinated. Just over 36% received a third dose.
We have an alert out on the roads for you. Work is being done this week on the eastbound I-4 entrance ramp from Amelia Street. The ramp will be closed off between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. each day until the 22nd, and this is to repair the barrier wall. Drivers can follow the detour on Garland Avenue to use the Colonial Drive ramp.
Take a break at what you're doing for a second and look at the screen here. This is the scare that came flying through a driver's windshield in Collier County yesterday. The Highway Patrol says this Jeep was driving behind a pickup truck on Interstate 75 when a rock fell out of the truck bed. The rock bounced off the road and smashed into the windshield. It actually hit the driver's side passenger in the shoulder. You can see the mark into the seat in this photo. The person who was hit suffered minor injuries, but a big scare for sure.
Wow, that person is very lucky.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do. You're strapped in and you're just basically along for the ride.
And by the time you know what's happening, it's already over.
That is a fact. Well, coming up new on WESH 2 News at 4, what people are doing behind the wheel this time of year especially that could be putting you in danger.
Plus, see the smash and grab robbery that happened so fast there was no way authorities could get there in time.
And you may not see it, but there's a junkyard floating in space. What would happen if a piece of space debris were to come tumbling down to Earth? But first.
At first, I found shame to ask.
A pillar of the Sanford community is putting out a call for help. What the woman that has given so much to strangers is now asking for in return. Kim.
And we've enjoyed a nice stretch of dry weather, and today is no different. As we take a look at first warning radar out there, it is dry across our area, but I am tracking some rain chances moving our way. I'll let you know when you'll need those umbrellas soon. Come here.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Rubenstein Law. Injured? Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Tonight at 11, Central Florida's first responders pushing for line-of-duty benefits to include COVID-19.
We don't really know from one employer to the next what's going to happen.
WESH 2 explores the fight to make this happen in Florida.
I think the workers' comp law is failing us on a grand scale.
Even though many first responders remain unvaccinated.
You're going to tell me what I'm going to put in my body.
They're taking our freedom of choice away, and it's just not right.
Tonight at 11, only on WESH 2 News.
Her Sanford restaurant carries her name, and her motorcycle is a major part of what she loves.
WESH 2's Dave McDaniel spoke with her about how the pandemic has forced her to give up one to save the other. The raffle winner will be announced in early March.
The city of Altamont Springs is getting a little more festive. Light Up the Holidays returns December 4th at Cranes Roost Park with live entertainment, ice skating, and even Santa and Mrs. Claus. You can watch the park come alive with the lighting of the 60-foot Christmas tree. The event kicks off at 4 in the afternoon with a fireworks show at 6:30, and admission is free. And one spot that wasted absolutely no time putting up its tree is Orlando International Airport. Check out the pictures posted to Twitter. The massive tree is a staple at the holiday during the holidays at the airport. It is a 40-foot tall tree, and it was installed yesterday. It sits right at the main terminal, greeting all passengers that make their way through the gates.
Sunshine in abundance today, plenty warm across central Florida. Meteorologist Cam Tran is tracking a forecast that does have some few changes, though.
That's right. I hope you enjoyed the nice weather out today, Jim, and you did too at home, because we've got some changes on the way. Let's first take a live look outside at Lake Eola. Look how gorgeous it is as we continue to wrap up your Wednesday afternoon. Those temperatures warmed up quite nicely today. Currently 79 in Sanford, 82 in Leesburg, 81 in Titusville, and 80 in Orlando. As we take a look at the visible satellite, I love showing the visible satellite because not only does it show where the clouds are, but kind of the texture of the clouds. You see some cumulus clouds with the puffy nature of these clouds off to the east, and you also see some high-level clouds building in out of the south. So we're noticing the clouds starting to build on in. They'll continue to build in as we go into the overnight hours. Right now, as we take a look at first warning radar, though, it is dry out. Now you see this little blip of green, and that's actually a controlled burn up to the north, so nothing to worry about there. But we have the chances of rain around. Looking ahead for early next week, we do have a potent front that's going to be moving through on Monday, late Monday into early Tuesday. That's really going to drop the temperatures. And speaking of Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, I'll dive more into your Thanksgiving week forecast. That's coming up in the 4:30 half hour.
See you then, Cam. Thanks. Coming up, what international travelers are bringing into our airports. It's getting the attention of major U.S. airlines.
Plus, another lawsuit in the Surfside condo collapse. What some victims' families believe first triggered the building to fall, and it has nothing to do with the building itself. But first,
opened the door, and then the vehicle was sinking as I was getting her out.
Time was running out to save a woman whose vehicle was sinking by the second. The remarkable and dramatic rescue next.
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Mark Spain Real Estate.
Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
A wild crash in Los Angeles created a domino effect of chaos. A pickup truck being chased by police slammed here into the back of a semi going 95 miles an hour and then into a highway divider. The whole thing was caught on camera by helicopters. Crews pulled the driver from the pickup. She was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. This all started when she refused to yield and pull over when police got behind her. Also in California, several thieves are able to carry out a fast jewelry heist.
In this surveillance video, you see 9 people all wearing hoodies and masks walking into the store at Sun Valley Mall, and they lined up and they destroyed display cases with hammers, taking off with nearly all of the jewelry inside. Employees tried to intervene, but the suspects got away before police arrived.
Well, I think one of the workers was trying to grab somebody, but I guess he chose not to because you never know what can happen, and then they just ran away super quick.
Now, police say this was a highly organized crime, taking only about 1 minute. No word yet on how much the stolen jewelry is worth, but police are treating it as a case of grand theft. Federal energy regulators have released a final report pinpointing the causes of the massive power outages that crippled Texas over the winter. It says more than half of the power generators that shut down would have been able to run if key equipment and wind turbine blades were better protected against the ice and cold. The report recommends new regulations for power plants. Officials there have already approved new rules with tough penalties to avoid another disaster. Some scary moments for a woman just west of Philadelphia when she drove off the road and plummeted right into a creek.
Her vehicle started to sink while she was still inside. Officer Mark Todd just happened to be nearby, dropped everything, and jumped into the water. He used a tool he had in his car to smash the back window of the SUV. Water then began to rush in, and it was a race against rising water to save her.
Opened the door, and then the vehicle was sinking as I was getting her out.
At the time, she had like a 6-inch window of air pocket left. So, yeah, the stars aligned for her.
At one point, Todd says the water was up to his chest and his adrenaline was going so fast that he didn't realize how cold it was. He successfully rescued that woman who was treated and is now okay.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, can you imagine how frozen you would be after something like that?
Oh, no.
Just numb. Wow. Well, coming up in a new half hour of WESH 2 News at 4, find out what will likely be different in the next vehicle you buy.
And Disney Cruise Line is tightening the rules aboard its ships. We'll talk about the major change that could set off a ripple effect throughout the cruise industry.
But first, we revisit the case of an Orlando mother who vanished on this day 10 years ago. Hear from Michelle Parker's family and why no one has ever been charged in this case, ahead on WESH 2 News.
WESH 2 traffic is driven by Toyota Orlando and Toyota Claremont.
WESH 2 News continues.
An Orlando family has been through a decade of questions and heartbreak. Today marks 10 years since the disappearance of Michelle Parker.
The mother of 3 was last seen in South Orlando. Despite empty tips and dead-end leads, her loved ones are not giving up hope. WESH 2's Kelsey Thord spoke to Parker's family about where the investigation stands today.
Gabby Petito's family is releasing more details about the foundation named in her honor. She's the 22-year-old woman whose remains were found in Wyoming following a nationwide search. The mission statement is here on your screen. It's to address the needs of organizations that support locating missing persons and to provide aid to organizations that assist victims of domestic violence situations. Her parents said that this foundation is their way of grieving. 2 yearly scholarships have been established for students graduating from her hometown schools, and Petito's family is also calling for a nationwide alert system for people ages 18 to 64.
A missing high school freshman has been found dead in Palm Beach Gardens. 14-year-old Ryan Rogers' body was discovered along with his bicycle near an I-95 overpass. Police say he left his home Monday evening for a bike ride and had not been seen since. A volunteer search party canvassed the neighborhood Tuesday morning. His cause of death remains under investigation. Grief counselors were at his school today.
New at 4, a lawsuit claims that the deadly Surfside condo collapse was triggered by construction work at a building next door. The already fragile Champlain Towers was in the midst of a 40-year structural review when it collapsed in June, killing 98 people. The lawsuit filed yesterday on behalf of the victims and their family says that work on the nearby luxury high-rise damaged and destabilized the older building. Multiple federal and state investigations and lawsuits have been filed. A pilot was killed in a plane crash while fighting the Kruger rock fire in Colorado. The air tanker used to battle the flames crashed on Tuesday night, and this is the first time a fixed-wing aircraft was used to fight fire using night vision goggles. Authorities say the pilot was the only person on board. The FAA and the NTSB are investigating the cause of this crash. At last check, the Kruger rock fire is about 15% contained.
It is the defense's turn to make its case in the trial over Ahmaud Arbery's killing. Attorneys are expected to call 30 witnesses. These 3 men said they chased down and killed the black jogger in self-defense. Chris Wynn reports the man who actually pulled the trigger took the stand in his own defense.
I want to give my side of the story.
The Staples Center in Los Angeles is set to get a new name. The home of the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Kings will soon be known as the Crypto.com Arena. The change comes after the 20-year naming rights deal that Staples paid in 1999 ended. The new name is scheduled to take effect Christmas Day. Cryptocurrency platform Crypto.com paid $700 million in what is believed to be the largest naming rights deal in history.
It's going to take some getting used to.
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't. Not yet. Not at least. Baby formula might be harder to find right now. Walgreens said the demand for infant formula is increasing nationwide while suppliers are struggling to restock shelves. Could be a big problem for parents, as it's not always easy to swap out one brand of formula for another because some babies develop an intolerance. The Infant Nutrition Council of America says its members are working with distributors, retailers, and state agencies on innovative ways to ensure availability. Nearly 1/3 of caregivers of childhood cancer survivors are hesitant about getting a COVID shot. A Duke survey of 130 caregivers shows many were hesitant to get vaccinated because of concerns about how fast the vaccine was developed. Caregivers who expressed confidence in the government's response to the virus were 6 times more likely to get vaccinated themselves and half as likely to vaccinate their children.
Lava continues to flow from the La Palma volcano in Spain nearly 2 months after it first erupted. Take a look at the strong lava flow. It began on September 19th. Scientists advise that it could last up to 3 months. At least 1 death has been linked to this eruption. The molten rock has covered more than 4 square miles and damaged thousands of buildings.
I know it smells terrible, but it really is cool to look at.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay, it has been a nice day outside, but, Jim, there's another cold front creeping up on us. Meteorologist Cam Tran is showing us what that means for rain chances for the rest of this week.
That's just our weather here.
I know.
And find out how much junk is zooming through outer space at any given moment and what happens to the pieces closest to Earth.
But first, you will need a vaccine before taking a cruise. We're going to break down the new guidelines to hop on board a Disney cruise ship, and that includes important rules regarding kids.
The closing bell on WESH 2 is sponsored by Todd Minor Law.
There's a lot that goes into forecasting Central Florida weather. Experience, technology, accuracy. It's the foundation for what we do, always being your first word of warning when it matters most. WESH 2 First Warning Weather.
In a major move, Disney Cruise Line is changing its coronavirus vaccine requirements.
WESH 2's Amanda Dukes reports starting in January, children ages 5 to 11 will be required to show proof of vaccination or a negative test to set sail. We are learning more about the mess in orbit left behind after Russia destroyed one of its own satellites. U.S. Space Command says Russia fired a missile to destroy a satellite, creating more than 1,500 pieces of trackable debris. That adds to the 9,600 tons floating in orbit as we speak. NASA says at least 26,000 pieces orbiting Earth are the size of a softball or larger, capable of damaging a spacecraft. And in case you're wondering how the space junk goes away, the smaller it is, the faster it will eventually decay. Fragments closer to Earth's atmosphere sometimes rain down and then burn up.
Speaking of raining down, we're getting rain again.
Yeah, here we go. And yeah, Darren was complaining last night, Cam, about it possibly raining on Friday night high school football. What about that?
I'll show you that forecast in a second, but let's back up the truck and show you the sunshine first. Hey, we've been spoiled with sunshine the last couple of days. Here's a live look outside from our Winter Park Tower. Cam, you see gorgeous sunshine out there, but yes, as I mentioned earlier, rain's on the way. I'll show you when in a few seconds. Keep that in mind if you're heading out to any Friday football night plans, like Mary Rams taking on the Seminoles. Again, we'll see a few showers around kickoff and likely until 9 o'clock as well. Looking at that weekend planner, we're keeping the rain chances around through the weekend, 40% coverage both weekend days, and then some changes for Thanksgiving week. We have a frontal system that's going to be moving through late Monday into Tuesday, excuse me. That's going to bring some cooler air our way. So Thanksgiving Eve, it will be chilly and dry, and looking at Thanksgiving Day, it will be a little warmer out, still lots of sunshine and dry. So that's good news if you have those dinner plans for Thanksgiving evening. Looking at that extended weather forecast, keep those umbrellas handy starting tomorrow afternoon, keeping the rain chances around through early next week. I pinpointed when we'll see the rain. Chief Meteorologist Cody Manalfi is coming up at 5. He'll let you know how much rain we can expect. That's coming up.
Listening to Christmas music before Thanksgiving is a controversial topic, as it is.
But wait until you hear how Frosty the Snowman himself could betray you. Say it ain't so, Frosty.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Todd Minor Law.
Some people have already blown past Thanksgiving and are jamming out to Christmas music.
They certainly are. And as a little holiday study, Chill Insurance came out with a list of the most dangerous and safest songs to drive through. This just in. That's an insurance company,
How about
Chill
that?
Insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's measured in beats per minute. The more beats, the bigger the risk of danger. So the top 5 most dangerous songs are on your screen. Coming in at number 3 is the traditional Feliz Navidad, followed by power ballad, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and then Frosty the Snowman's Jolly Happy Soul may betray you, as the company says it is the most dangerous because it has 172 beats per minute and is linked to a more stressful temperament behind the wheel. Now, the list of safest songs is more mellow. Hark the Herald Angels Sing is 3rd. Santa Baby is 2nd, but not the original. It's only the original, not one of the remakes.
Right.
And then a song that I don't think we've ever heard, the Irish Christmas song, Fairy Tale of New York. That's number 1 of like the most safe songs.
You're from New York.
I've never heard it.
You've never heard of this.
I've never heard
I have never heard of it either.
Okay.
So we need to make this our mission to find out whether or not it's dangerous.
We'll cue it up.
Yeah?
What I think makes it most dangerous is, are you going to be closing your eyes and singing behind the wheel? That's what determines it.
Who does this stuff? Seriously.
Rocking out.
First Warning Weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. Dial #law on your cell phone.